Earth is warming up, and humans are at least partially to blame. The causes, effects, and complexities of global warming are important to understand so that we can fight for the health of our planet.
This is Irene May Adorza, presenting to you one of the most trending environmental issues in the world, the global warming.
For 2.5 million years, the Earth's climate has fluctuated, cycling from ice ages to warmer periods. But in the last century, the planet's temperature has risen unusually fast, about 1.2 to 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Scientists believe it's human activity that's driving the temperatures up a process known as the global warming. Ever since the Industrial Revolution began, factories, power plants, and eventually cars have burned fossil fuels such as oil and coal, releasing huge amounts of carbon dioxide and other gases into the atmosphere. Now, let's define first what is global warming. Global warming is a long-term warming of the planet's overall temperature. Though this warming trend has been going on for a long time, its pace has significantly increased in the last 100 years due to the burning of fossil fuels. As the human population has increased, so has the volume of fossil fuels burned. Fossil fuels include coal, oil, and natural gas, and burning them causes what is known as the greenhouse effect in the Earth's atmosphere. The greenhouse effect is when the sun's rays penetrate the atmosphere, but when that heat is reflected off the surface, cannot escape back into the space. Gases produced by the burning of fossil fuels prevent the heat from leaving the atmosphere. These greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide, chlorofluorocarbons, water vapor, methane, and nitrous oxide. The excess heat in the atmosphere has caused the average global temperature to rise over time. While there are conflicting opinions on the topic, a majority of scientists worldwide agree that global warming is very real and if left unaddressed could result in devastating effects for humanity. More than 99% of peer-reviewed scientific research acknowledges that humans are the major cause of this problem. So what are the causes of global warming? Global warming is typically attributed to the overaccumulation of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane in the Earth's atmosphere. The excess greenhouse gases can come from a variety of sources. First is the burning of fossil fuels. Next is the deforestation. Deforestation removes the trees that act as a natural greenhouse gas filter, absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen into our atmosphere. Next is the agricultural practices. Modern farming accounts for more than 10% of all human-produced greenhouse gas emissions, largely due to livestock and rice cultivation. Next is the consumer goods. The energy used in the manufacturing and transportation of consumer goods leads to increase of greenhouse gas emissions. Next is the mining. Operations that rely on fossil fuels emit significant levels of greenhouse gases. And lastly is the waste disposal. When plastics and other non-biodegradable waste decompose, it releases toxic gases into the environment. So knowing the causes of global warming, then what could be the effects of all of these activities? Here are some of the consequences that are documented in the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change Special Report on Global Warming. First is the effects on biodiversity. The increase of temperatures and the climate upheavals disturb the ecosystems, modify the conditions and cycles of plant reproduction. The scarcity of resources and climate change are changing life habits and migratory cycles of animals. We are already witnessing the disappearance of many species, including endemic species, or conversely, the intrusion of invasive species that threaten crops and other animals. Second is the effects on the oceans. Because of global warming, permafrost and ice are melting massively at the poles, increasing the sea level at a rate never known before. In a century, the increase reached 18 centimeters, including 6 centimeters in the last 20 years. The worst case scenario is a rise of up to 1 meters by 2100. The acidification of the oceans is also of great concern. In fact, the large amount of carbon dioxide captured by the oceans makes them more acidic, arousing serious questions about the adaptability of seashells or coral reefs. So next is the effects on the humans. Human beings are not spared by these upheavals. Global warming is affecting the global economy. It is already shaking up when it comes to social, health, and geopolitical balances in many parts of the world. The scarcity of resources like food and energy gives rise to new conflicts. Next is the effects on the weather. For decades now, meteorologists and climatologists around the world have been watching the effects of global warming on the weather phenomena. And the impact is huge. More droughts and heat waves, more precipitations, more natural disasters like floods, hurricanes, storms, and wildfires, frost-free season, and etc. So here are some of the ways to prevent global warming. First is renewable energies. The first way to prevent climate change is to move away from fossil fuels. What are the alternatives? Renewable energies like solar, wind, biomass, and geothermal could be the alternatives. Next is energy and water efficiency. Producing clean energy is essential, but reducing our consumption of energy and water by using more devices such as LED light bulbs, innovative shower systems is less costly and equally important. Next is sustainable transportation. Promoting public transportation, carpooling, but also electric and hydrogen mobility can definitely help reduce carbon dioxide emissions and thus fight global warming. Next is sustainable infrastructure. In order to reduce the carbon dioxide emissions from buildings caused by heating, air conditioning, hot water, or lighting, it is necessary both to build new low-energy buildings and to renovate the existing constructions. Next is the sustainable agriculture and forest management. Encouraging better use of natural resources, stopping massive deforestation, as well as making agriculture greener and more efficient should also be our priority. Next is the responsible consumption and recycling. Adopting responsible consumption habits is crucial, be it regarding food, particularly meat, clothing, cosmetics, or cleaning products. Last but not the least, recycling is an absolute necessity for dealing with the waste.